Hello, everyone. Welcome to the You Are Worthy Network. If you were with us earlier this afternoon, welcome again. This is the second interview that I've had the honor of doing today. It's always great to be with you guys. If this is the first time you're watching today, I just want to say happy Monday to you. Hope you're having a great start to your week and had a wonderful weekend, resting, hopefully, more than working. Um, I'm excited today to bring you our guest. I've gotten to know her a little bit a couple of weeks ago, and then we were just talking here for a couple minutes before we jumped on here. And I think you guys are going to be super encouraged by what she shares today. Let me tell you a little bit about her, and then she can tell us a lot more when we jump in. So, Dawn Mattera Corsi is for 25 years has helped people to connect their purpose and create a fulfilling, meaningful life. A former engineer, Dawn is also a best-selling author, award-winning speaker, and a certified coach. Her communication style offers proven techniques, heartfelt empathy, and a dash of tough love. Within the span of a few years, she was divorced, laid off twice, moved three times, and faced the most challenging emotional and financial difficulties of her life. Rather than sinking to old patterns of depression, Dawn overcame despair to design a life of passion, peace, and purpose. She has spoken for the American Cancer Society, Hallmark, the March of Dimes, Weight Watchers, and a defense industry contractor. A regular guest on CBS and Fox News, she has been featured in numerous media outlets. Dawn and her husband Bob have taken gladiator lessons in Rome and driven vintage Vespas through Tuscany. Her research for the best gelato continues to this day.
That
And
is true.
I've got a lot of questions tail into that bio. Actually, it's great. But I want to introduce everybody to Dawn Mattera Corsi. Welcome.
Thank you so much. It's so great to be here and to be with our viewers. And as Steve and I were talking before we went on live, that our goal is that we want to inspire somebody, give somebody hope, because there's so much hopelessness and despair out there. And we're here to say, no, there's always hope. As a matter of fact, my favorite Italian proverb is, as long as there is life, there is hope. And that's what we're here to give you today.
That's exactly right. I love the positive energy for sure. Um, so we'll get to Italy in a second, but you're stateside now. Tell us how that all happened.
Right. Yes, I do. I was born and raised in Rhode Island, but then after I graduated from college, I lived all over the United States. I did live in Florence, Italy for a couple of months. And then I came back to Rhode Island about 17 years ago. I came back and I hope that some of the accent is still coming back. I park the car in the parking lot, but I try not to do that too much. But it's been a whirlwind, and here I am, I'm in my 60s, and I still feel that the best is yet to come. That there's still that, and that's kind of my main message, is that it's never too late to pursue those dreams, to dust them off and do something that makes you feel alive. Because the more of us that are alive and we're lit up, we're like candles on a dark night that draw people and give them hope. Because it's not just about us, it's about the ripple effect of our enthusiasm and helping other people become their best and achieve their dreams and goals.
Yeah, I love that. I don't even know if you and I have talked about this aspect, but the subtitle to the You Are Worthy Network is Your Story's Not Over Yet.
I love it. I did not know that.
Fascinating. Okay, so tell the world, and I love saying this because the group, by the grace of God, is really expanding rapidly right now. And so I've noticed people are watching in Europe, South America, Canada, all over. So it's wonderful. Tell folks, like I know you're remarried. I know you have a
Yes.
cat. Tell us about your family.
Yes, I was brought up in a very Italian American community with my Italian grandparents that lived diagonally across the street from us. And so we had that there's real strong sense of connection in the Italian culture. And I know it's true with a lot of other cultures as well. And I love that because if you take a look, I'm sure you've heard of the blue zones. They're where areas of the world where people live over 100, and Sardinia, Italy, is one of those blue zones. And one of the keys of a long and happy, healthy life is connection. So when I was growing up here, and my siblings, and we all went our separate ways after we grew up and graduated and all that. And as I was off on my life's journey, my path, um, I was married previously and got divorced. And of course, being in a church, it was interesting. My now ex-husband was actually a deacon in the church, and so we could never ever say that we were having marriage problems. And when he did ask for a divorce, boy, we're getting right into this right off the bat, aren't we? Wow. Um, and of course, the thing is that I was not only was I hurt because I made a vow. And even though, no, we weren't happy, at least we were amicable. I made a vow and I was going to stick with it. So when he asked for a divorce, I was hurt. I was embarrassed. I was actually embarrassed. And, people in the church, they were either one way or the other. There was no middle ground. It was either, Dawn, what can I do to help you? Which was a minority of people. Whereas most people were saying, Dawn, what did you do? So I thought, wow, ouch.
Mm.
So at that point is when I moved back to Rhode Island, not only because it was my hometown, so to speak, but also my uncle was not doing well health wise, and I wanted to be close to him. He was my dad and my mom had since passed away at that point, and I wanted to be close to my uncle and spend as much time as I could with him. He was also my godfather as well, and so I met you in my bio. You read where that couple of years span where I moved 3 times, divorced, laid off twice, and I was not getting the support that that I needed. So I had to get through this somehow. And how do I do it? I did it in a couple of ways. Of course, number one is my faith that never wavered. And there are stories in the Bible and stories you hear of people in our era that have faced challenges we start to wonder, God, why is this happening to me? And what I look at it as, I know some people look at things like that and say, oh, that was horrible, it was terrible, don't you wish you could live your life over again and change that? No, because my test became my testimony, and now I can go on and help people that are going through the same thing. So my faith, number one, got me through, and number two was I looked at my heritage. And and as a former engineer, I still have this scientific brain, and I look at the biology of it. That I look at my grandparents who immigrated to America with hardly anything, and the perseverance, the courage, the fortitude, the sacrifices that they made so I can be where I am today. That DNA is in me. And so if they did it, I can do it too. And I don't have nearly the challenges that they did. So my faith
Mhm.
and my family, and of course my friends, is what got me through all these times. Now, is life all unicorns and cupcakes now? No, there's always something, but it always comes down to my faith. I know I don't know what tomorrow holds, but I know who holds tomorrow. And so I'm good and I will get through things.
Yeah, absolutely. So tell us a little more about what you were feeling at a heart level when you were going through that difficult time through the divorce. I mean,
Mhm.
there's a lot of people watching right now that, I mean, we're all going through something, right?
Right, right.
You don't get through this life unscathed.
That's
It's
right.
about how we respond to those battles, right?
Yes.
And you just laid out, like you said, we're right there in the middle of it quick. Um, but how did you
Yeah.
feel? I mean,
Hmm.
this network's about feeling worthy of love, respect, and
Right.
success. I take it during that time you probably weren't feeling that.
Absolutely. And as a matter of fact, for the longest time, I'm going to say into my 50s, I always struggled with feeling worthy. Whether it was a matter of, when I was young, I was overweight when I was a kid. So the kids would make fun of me. And of course, you get to that age where girls are interested in boys. And I actually had some boys say that they weren't interested in me because of my weight. So I wasn't worthy because of my size. Then, I get into corporate America, and I was an engineer in the time when women. Actually got a scholarship in college because I was considered a minority. Yeah, because I was a female in engineering. It's like, call me whatever you want. You want to help me pay my college? I'm good with it.
Right.
And right. And so, as I would climb the corporate ladder, and I then different positions would open up, and oh, you're not smart enough. You don't have the right degrees. You're not male enough. Men, no, only men are in this
Mhm.
position. So I know that goes back a couple of decades. But also, especially when then the divorce, I was thinking, oh my gosh, I'm not even worthy of a long-term relationship. So absolutely, I struggled with that. I was, and I mentioned about the lack of support I got from the church. That I felt that I'm not even worthy to be asked to hear my side of the story. And by the way, I have to say, my pastor and his wife, they were awesome. They were some of my supporters. So just want to throw that in there. and
Yeah.
and so it was definitely a struggle of not feeling worthy enough. And it just, I don't won't bore you with all the different stories, but I always had to get back to, what am I telling my clients? What am I telling the people that I'm teaching? Is that, you know what, your worth is, because we're one of a kind. We're like snowflakes. Everyone is an individual, and no one is exactly the same. And that makes you rare. That makes you valuable. That's why the Mona Lisa or the Hope Diamond, that these things that are one of a kind, or a classic 64 and a half Mustang, those are rare. And because they are, that's why they're valuable. And we are worthy because of who made us.
Yeah.
That is really what it comes down to. I can never earn salvation. I can never earn a ticket to heaven. It's all about that Jesus died for me, and that's why I'm worthy. So now I want to put this into action. Okay, what can I do with this gift that I've been given? And I want to help other people.
Yeah, remarkable. So help us with the timeline. So you go through this just awful season. Was your speaking and coaching and all that you're writing,
Mhm.
did that all come in the on the heels of that after,
Mhm.
or was that downtime kind of in the middle of your business?
Yeah, that was a transitional period. Now, before that, I was doing a lot of speaking and coaching and training in the health and wellness industry. So I was teaching people how to eat healthy and lose weight and be fit and be healthy of the mind as well. And so I was doing that for decades. And then this rough patch in my life came along, and I kind of cut back from everything, all of that. And then once I got through this, and part of it was realizing that, yes, I am worthy because I'm a child of God. And that's when I realized I have to tell people, because I even um, depression. I don't know if it's a learned behavior. We don't really know, but depression was always like a hovering black cloud around me. And I realized how much time I lost because I was hovering inside of that cloud. And when I came through, I realized I can't keep this to myself. I have to help other people. And that's when I started speaking again, writing books, and I just have such joy now. And it's so funny that we talk about weight and how I was teaching people how to lose weight and be healthy and all that. And I could probably lose like 15, 20 pounds. But you know what? In the past, I was so hung up on that number on the scale, that size in my clothing, that if I was up or off, it goes back to that not feeling worthy. Oh, you're not skinny enough. You're not pretty enough, and all that. And I think, how how crazy is that? And now I'm more comfortable in my skin now, wrinkles, gray hair, and everything, because I have that firm foundation.
Yeah, it's amazing how we attach numbers and quantifiers to feel something
Hmm.
when in fact, I love this because I get to remind you, I know you know this now, but you were just as worthy because you're God's daughter. You were just as worthy then as you are today.
Right, right. You're absolutely right. Yep. Yeah. There's and I don't know why it took me so long to figure it out. I guess it's all the programming I had that was going into my brain in those formative years and all that. And so, but hey, I finally got it.
And exactly. And that's what I say. Those lessons that take us a little longer to get, it's frustrating sometimes to think, why did it take so long? But once you get it, you're so grateful that you got it, and that conviction sticks for a lifetime.
Right. That's right. Yes, absolutely.
So tell us a little
Yes,
bit about who you like to serve. Who do you really like
yes,
to work with?
yes. My target market is me 20 years ago. Because,
Yeah, tell us.
right, yeah, so definitely women over 40 who feel that perhaps they feel invisible, they might feel irrelevant. They're wondering, is this all there is to life? And then, of course, as we get older, we start to think, we look at that hourglass and we think, whoa, there's a lot more sand at the bottom of the hourglass than what's left at the top. Is it too late? Am I too old? You can't teach an old dog new tricks. Yes, you can. We just need more belly rubs and a couple of milk bones, and we're good to go. And I'm proof that an old dog can learn new tricks. So yeah, that's my target market is women over 40 who want to have a life of passion, purpose, courage, and connection.
So there's going to be a lot of women watching this. Can you give a little sneak peek into how
Mhm.
you do that?
Yes. The first step is to discover your purpose, to find out what that is, and to give you some ideas of the pieces of the puzzle is to figure out what you're good at, what you love to do, and what the world needs. Those are the three keys. Now, if you can make money doing it, that's even better. That's the icing on the cake. But for fulfillment, because money is just a tool, it's not good or bad, it's just a tool. So if you can figure out what you're good at, for example, I might have been a good engineer, but that doesn't make my heart sing. And so find out what you're good at and does the world need it? And that's your sweet spot of where those three things meet. And then serve in that capacity. Maybe you're the greatest cookie baker. Does the world need it? Yes. And are you
Yeah.
good at it? And people are always asking you about it, then bake cookies for heaven's sake, whatever it is. And if each one of us does this, the ripple effect is that of joy and happiness and openness and friendship and fellowship.
It's funny that you mentioned cookies specifically because we had a guest on a couple of weeks ago who the Lord showed her quite clearly when she was in college that she was to make cookies was going to be her business.
I
And
love
it's a
it.
thriving business today, many years later. So it's interesting.
Absolutely.
Um, so we read in your bio that you do the speaking examples that you gave us are pretty significant. Do you really enjoy that part of your business?
I love it. I love it. Whether it's for a women's event or a corporation or a nonprofit or any, of course, with the Italian American community, any of those organizations, I love to share whatever story it is that they need. You know, a corporation might be more interested in where I teach the success principles and how I can help them be more fulfilled in their job because you think about it, people with a job have, I mean, that's most of their day that they're spending at their occupation. Or if I speak at a women's event, it's more like what you and I are talking about now. And of course, when I talk with the Italian American organizations, it's about helping them reconnect to their heritage and honoring that long tradition. So truly speaking with all these various groups, it's all about helping people create a life they love, creating their best life.
I love that. So tell folks about your first book
Mhm.
and how did that come about?
Well, my first book was The Italian Art of Living. And it started where I was coming out of all the dark days, so to speak, and I'd been out of them for a while and started doing more speaking and started. I had a blog, but I can't even find that blog anymore, where I was again just encouraging people and the Italian art of living, where you talk about la dolce vita, the sweet life, and how the culture is really about slowing down and enjoying life, to savor your meals instead of just scarfing them down in your car as you're driving to work. And it's
Exactly.
not so much about, so with the Italian culture, it's the four F's: faith, family, friends, and food. And it's, of course, the food's fantastic, but it's not so much the food, but what happens around it, where people connect and share stories, and you learn about each other, and when you're with your family, you learn about your history and the culture and the values that are instilled in a casual, relaxed atmosphere. So I wanted to translate that dolce vita, and so that the anybody, regardless of what their ethnicity is, that they too can have that life of hope, happiness, and connection.
Wow, I love that. So that's in your first book. How
Yes,
many books in total have you written?
I have written three solo books and three. I've been a part of three other anthologies.
Okay. And so when we include the links, people will be able to find those, right?
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. So I gotta ask you, going back to your bio for a minute, this is fascinating. Okay. Tell us about gladiator lessons. Tell us what all
Everyone
that
always asks.
entails.
So we love to travel. And one of the things that we do is, and also traveling with intention. It's not just about checking off, okay, saw the Colosseum, saw the Roman Forum, saw the Trevi Fountain. It's not about that. It's about becoming what Rick Steves calls a temporary local, where you're going to get involved. So we love going to little towns and really seeing the authentic Italy, not the touristy Italy. And so I'm always searching for, and I literally type these words in when I'm researching a place: unusual things to do in. And that's how I found gladiator lessons. So we were in Rome, and it was this place that's about, I don't know, maybe a half mile away from the Colosseum, where it's actually an educational outreach, where they go around the world teaching people about ancient Roman history. And of course, the way you get people involved, especially kids involved in ancient history, is to have gladiators. And so we went, and they gave us a little tour of the facility, and then we went out to practice. And the helmets, they're brass. Oh, they weigh, I don't know, like 30 pounds, it felt like. And you can only see like this much out of it. You have no peripheral vision. And they were wooden swords. So, and so we had our wooden swords, and we had, here's the, oh, and then our instructor, my husband and I are sitting there with our big helmets and everything else. And the instructor walks out. He looks like Brad Pitt in that movie, the about, oh, he was a Greek god. I can't even remember what the name of it was,
Yeah.
but
Oh,
I can't
sure.
remember the name of it. But anyway, it's like, oh my gosh. And so I was first, and so I'm just hitting him with my wooden sword because I was a little intimidated, and he was really handsome, and he was young, and so you could see he was getting bored. So finally, it was Bob's turn. So Bob gets up there and he starts just tapping again. And so the guy's getting bored again. Just at that point, when the guy was getting bored and looks away, my husband lunged at him with his shield and got him on the ground and said, "Ha ha, you're dead." And see, what isn't that some adage? Age and treachery will beat youth and whatever it is.
Something like that. Yeah. I guess the instructor wasn't bored anymore.
No, he was not. He was not. But we do things like that, and renting, whether it's vintage Vespas or Cinquecentos, and pasta making. We just love doing things that are unusual and that will get us immersed in the culture.
Now everybody in the world watching is going to go on vacation with you guys because you guys are a blast to go on trips with, I'm
We
sure.
do get a lot of requests.
So I'm assuming since the ongoing goal of finding the best gelato in the world has not been achieved yet, but
No, no.
I'm assuming it's not in the US.
That would be correct. Yes. Gelato, for my friends that don't know, it's Italy's big sister of ice cream. It's a little bit different, but same principle. And so it would be somewhere in Italy. There are some pretty close places, but I have to continue my research. It's all in the sake of science. That yes, I will continue.
And you'll let us know, right?
I will. When I find it, I will let you know. But for now, I just have to keep researching.
And for those of you that don't know and have not experienced gelato yet, I'll describe it this way. I'm sure Don can do a much better job of describing it, but it's like think of your very favorite ice cream, not only the flavor, but how you want it, whether it's in a cone or a bowl. And so think of the flavor, think of the brand, and then gelato, like at its basic level, beats that by like 5 times. Would that
You are
be?
spot on.
Yeah.
Perfect description. Perfect.
Yeah. So what's coming down the pike, Dawn?
Yeah, so I'll continue to do more speaking engagements to different women's groups and corporations. And I am in the process of designing an online course based on the book The Italian Art of Living, and also my chapter that I did with Jack Canfield in The Keys to Authenticity. And it's also one of my keynote speeches called The Five Keys to a Dolce Vita. So I will be creating a course, and also got my next book is up here. So I'm going to work on that as well.
That's all very, very exciting. So for those that don't know who Jack Canfield is, remind them of his book
Mhm.
series that he's known for.
Yes, Chicken Soup for the Soul. So that is, yeah, that's amazing, amazing. And then about 20 years ago, he came out with the Success Principles, and I'm one of his certified trainers for the Success Principles as well. And so it's an honor.
Yeah, that's really cool. It's amazing. Jack is much more than the chicken soup series, but people that don't know him by name, when they hear the book, they're like, "Oh, yeah, I've read
Ex-
that."
exactly, exactly.
Yeah. So as we get ready to leave today,
Mhm.
Dawn, what words of encouragement would you leave the viewers today?
I would say number one, you are worthy because you are the Hope Diamond, that you are one of a kind. There's nobody else like you before or after you. It's only you. And somebody else out there needs to hear your message. They might not relate to my story, but yours will strike a chord. So don't let them down. Go out there, however you're going to serve them, whether it's speaking or writing like I do, or baking cookies like our other friend does, whatever it is, try to make a difference in somebody's life by using your unique skills and abilities. And the other thing I would say is that it is never too late, no matter how old you are, no matter what, and it doesn't matter where you've been. What matters is where you're going. And all that crap that happened in your past, that's fertilizer for a garden today that you are going to sprout, and you are going to just inspire other people just by being you.
Yeah, I love that, Dawn. I was talking to a friend last night, trying to help him with some future goals, and we have been having that same conversation about going on almost 3 months now, and um, just trying to help them see, make a decision and give it a timeline, and then start working it from there. You can make action steps and have accountability partners towards
Mhm.
that goal. But you got to make a decision first, or a year from now, we're still having the same conversation.
Exactly.
And if the date needs to change to sooner or a little later, that's okay, but make the
Right.
decision.
Yep.
Um,
It's
So
funny
I
that you say that because I talk about the 5 keys to a Dolce Vita and it's an acrostic. D is to decide.
oh wow. Wow. Well, and we're saying the same thing consistently because what I want to remind everybody with today is you are worthy. And I know a lot of people that get back into the work week on Monday, a lot of people go into it depressed on Monday. I hope you've had a great day, and you haven't felt that way, but there's probably many of you watching today that feel stuck in your job. You didn't look forward to going in this morning, but I just want to bring a little sunshine to you and say you're worthy and your story's not over yet, not
Right.
by a long shot. Keep
Mm-mm.
dreaming, keep striving. You are worthy of love, respect, and success. Dawn, thank you so much for being on the You Are Worthy Network. You've been a delight.
Thank you. It was my pleasure and my honor to be here today.
Guys, we'll see you next time. Thanks for tuning in. God bless.